here to teach you guys how to send your invoice through PayPal. A lot of people don't know, but PayPal is actually an excellent way to get your business bills paid through email.
Good fellas.
Just follow this simple step.
You can press here invoicing, or instead press here get paid, create an invoice. Go ahead and press create an invoice. In our case, we already have a logo, but when you come in, that's the first thing you should probably do if you want to look very professional, to add your business logo. Then go ahead and change here. Frequency, it depends on how often do you want this invoice to be sent again. So if you have a recurring service, you might want to send it every month. In our case, we're only sending once. For invoice number, you can leave it as default or you can modify it. And whichever number you have now, on the next invoice, it will simply automatically add a number. So instead of 5 to 6. And the due date, you can set a date that this invoice is due. Instead of the same day you're sending it, it can be due in 10 days, 15 days, etc. For business information, a lot of people ask if you can remove a phone number, remove address, etc. Yes, just press here, my business information, and press edit. So you can definitely choose not to show certain sensitive information you don't want your client to be seen. You can also add your website, your tax ID, and additional information such as business hours. Press save. The next step you should be doing is adding your customer's information. The most important thing is actually the email. So you can just type the email here. In our case, we already have our client information. So every time you load up client information, it will get saved. So next time you just don't have to type it the whole thing. And you can edit your client information to reflect different shipping address, billing address, even the language you wish the invoice be sent into. So we want John to get his invoice in English, okay? And save. Whoever you need to CC it to. And by default, the invoice comes counting in quantity. You can always change that. Instead of quantity, you can change it by hourly. So if you have a service and you charge by hour, you can change that. Here goes the name of the item. I'm writing a random model and giving a description of the item. This part is actually optional. And the price you're selling this item for. And then here you go ahead and type in the quantity. The good thing about PayPal is that it does the job for you, all the counting and everything gets added, and it's up to you if you want to add a tax or not, depending on the state, type of service, etc. You can also add a second item here. Charge it. You can keep adding as many items and press here to delete them. The good thing is you can also save the item, so same as the customer information, you can save it for next time. So it actually, most of the work takes place the first time you're issuing an invoice. The next part here is that you can actually provide a discount. You can change it for percentage or a specific amount. Let's give this guy a 20% off discount and then charge him $120 for shipping. You can even choose if the shipping has a tax or not. We're going to leave it like that. Here you have an additional setting which is quite interesting. You can allow the customer to do a partial payment, set up payment. Okay, and if you do that, you can even set an optional minimum amount. We want John to pay in full, so I'm going to check that off. You can also allow the customer to add a tip. If you click on this, it will show in the invoice and they can actually add an amount or a percentage on top of whatever you're invoicing in. Term of service, no return or any specific to the items that you're selling. And an additional note. You can even attach a file. So you could be like an instruction manual, etc. Here you can add an additional memo to yourself. Only you will see it. It could be a specific information like follow-up, but you wouldn't want the client to see that, right? And that's it. My invoice is pretty much done. Checking all the information is correct. And always, before you send it out, make sure to make a preview. Okay, so this is exactly how your client will be seeing the invoice he or she receives. And before pressing send, by default, it will be sent as an email, so people will send it to your client emails. But you still have the option to have it shared as a link. And I'm going to show you how that looks if you choose to send it as a link. So this is how the PayPal invoice will look on your client's side. And by pressing pay, the client gets to choose the method of payment by logging into his PayPal, or you press here to pay in a credit card instead. Okay, so you add your credit card information and pay whatever is due. On the email format, you guys can see here in the email, this is what the client will see. Okay, hello Jonah, you have an invoice. Okay, and then the same view, if he presses pay to view to pay invoice, it would simply show this exact same page. And that's it. Happy invoicing.
And don't forget to subscribe if you find any of this advice helpful. Give us a like.